Hello and welcome back to the Google Flights Guide. This is episode 4, using the Explore tool. Today we're going to talk about what is the Explore tool, maximizing the tool so you understand all the functionalities and how to make it work for you, and filters, which will help you narrow down your search even more. Now, using the Explore tool is really easy. Once you're on flights.google.com, you're just going to scroll down to the bottom of the page where you'll see a map with some destinations identified, as well as a list of the prices for those for just random dates out into the future. This is the Explore tool, but this is only the tip of the iceberg. So to really get a sense of how you can use the Explore tool, we're going to hit Explore Destinations right above it. This will take a moment to load, but when it does, it's going to show us our home city based on the location we've set in our preferences, and it's going to show all of the different nearby cities and the prices to go there. Now, the Explore tool is going to default to a 1-week trip in the next 6 months, so this is the most flexible option available. We can obviously go ahead and narrow this down if we have a more specific request. For example, if I need to go somewhere for a weekend in May, I'm allowed to select that here. It'll only take a couple of seconds for the prices to update. Now, in general, the prices are going to increase as we get more specific with our date requests, but there may always be a good fair sale for the date you're looking for. Now we can also use specific dates. This will allow us to be ultra specific with exactly what we need. So if I need to go somewhere for Memorial Day weekend specifically, I'm allowed to select those dates here. Once again, it takes just a couple of seconds, and there you go. Now we can see all of the prices for places all around the continental United States, as well as some Canadian and Mexican destinations. It's also easy if you don't want to look at a map to just scroll through at the bottom here. This will also give you some more descriptive information, like whether the flight is non-stop, if there are stops, how many, and how long the total travel time is going to be in each direction. The other nice thing that you're able to do is you can scroll over on the map to Europe, for example, and it just takes another couple of seconds, and now you have a great idea of all the prices for Europe for those dates. It also works just as well to do the flexible dates if I want a 1-week trip in May. There we are, and we can see much lower prices now, considering that the dates aren't as specific. This works for anywhere in the world. Google Flights is really good at identifying the major cities in each region and showing the prices quickly for those. If you have a more specific request, you may have to zoom in. So if we're trying to go to Malaysia, we can see a lot of the different airports only by zooming in. Now, of course, what the Explore tool is doing is it's showing us the absolute lowest prices, and that's regardless of connection times, if there are overnight layovers, airlines, etc. So it's important that we know how to use our filters to make sure that we're actually getting a good value for our money. So looking back at the United States again, we're allowed to sort this by the number of stops. Now, a lot of these airports do have nonstop flights to Phoenix, which is fantastic, but several of them don't. So if we are not looking to take more than one flight in each direction, we can filter that out, nonstop only. Immediately, quite a few destinations have disappeared. Now, for airlines, this is similar to what I was showing in the second video about how to filter out airline choices, but it'll only allow you to filter out the alliances. So this would mean that SkyTeam will be Delta and their partners, Star Alliance United and their partners, and Oneworld American and their partners. So if we're looking for a nonstop on a SkyTeam airline, that's going to be even more limited, simply because Delta doesn't have nearly as many flights to Phoenix as some of the other carriers. As I talked about in a previous video as well, we can sort by including carry-on bags, and this will allow us to avoid the basic economy flights that don't allow carry-on bags to be included. The other helpful tool is going to be duration. If we're only looking for a short flight away, we can sort this down to just a couple of hours, and once again, we're going to see more of our possible destinations disappear. The other thing we can do here is if you're on a budget, you can simply set a price maximum here. Now, I do want to highlight one very helpful use for this, and if we first eliminate our filters, we'll be able to see this more easily. What a lot of frequent travelers will tell you is that getting to Europe is particularly expensive, but then traveling around within Europe is not nearly as expensive, simply because of the cheaper flights and trains. So, if, for example, we're trying to go to Paris, we can see that for a 1 week trip in May, it's $620 round trip to get there. By selecting it, we can see more of the details here, but what we can see is that to go to Frankfurt, it's only $480. Now, Frankfurt is only a few-hour train ride away from Paris, which means that we may actually be better off flying into Frankfurt on a non-stop flight and then taking a short, much more affordable train over to Paris. This is one of the hidden uses, I like to say, of the Explore tool, simply because most people don't think to use it to get a sense of how expensive it is to fly into nearby airports and how they could use that cost savings to get to their destination for even less. So overall, the Explore tool is a very useful tool. It gives you a great sense of all the prices that are out there, and it's something that I personally just enjoy playing around with when I have some free time. It's just super fun to be able to see all the places you can go, especially if you are trying to plan your next vacation. Thank you so much for tuning into episode 4 of the Google Flights Guide, where we talked about the Explore tool and how to use it. The next episode is going to be a little bit different. We're going to be talking about some of the advanced topics of Google Flights. Sometimes Google Flights has currency issues, or there are situations where they can't even direct you to an airline to book your flight. Though these situations don't come up very often, they're definitely worthy of consideration. So next episode, I'm going to talk to you about dealing with those rare situations, as well as some helpful, more advanced settings that will allow you to use Google Flights to your advantage. Thanks so much. Make sure to like and subscribe below, and we'll see you soon.